Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, Doctor, you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be the presenter for this workshop. I'm Dr. Rabia. I'm Assistant Professor in Department of Information System and Co-Coordinator of Data Science Club. And on the behalf of Data Science Club, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you will learn a lot today from this interesting security workshop. So let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So the topic of today's workshop is data security, along with practical demonstration of two data security tools, which is Veracrypt and AMOEI Backuper tool, which we can use for backup your data. The agenda of the workshop is as follow. First, we will discuss what is data security. Then we will move to data vulnerabilities that can cause data breaches. Then we will discuss some technologies that are helpful to protect your data. After that, we will do two practical demonstrations using different tools, Veracrypt and AEMOI Backup, a tool for data encryption and data backup. At the end, we will focus on data security best practices that we all should follow in order to make our data secure. So managing the world's most valuable resource, data, is very, very important. Organizations today.
Excuse me, Dr. Rabia, to interrupt you. Maybe your screen is not very clear. Can you check it, please?
Let me
It's a
present
bit
it
blurry,
again.
yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. So organizations today succeed or fail on the strength of their data deployment and management. Definitely, if the organizations, they are applying very good security controls, definitely they can succeed in securing their data. But on the other hand, definitely if their security controls are very weak, definitely it will affect them in a negative way. But staggeringly, according to a report published in early 2021, 88% of organizations no longer have confidence in their ability to detect and prevent the loss of sensitive data. So definitely, basically, the issue is that they fail to apply a good security controls. 80% of compromised data contains personally identifiable information. And personally identifiable information is a main target of attackers. For example, your name, your mobile numbers, your social security numbers, your credit card numbers, your bank account details. So it is a disaster. If an attacker is able to get your PII information, definitely it will affect the organization and their users, customers very badly. Again, 23% of data breaches are caused by human errors. So humans, again, human mistakes, like, they are very common. For example, some people, they choose very weak passwords for their accounts. Some people, they share passwords with their friends, with their families. Some people, they write passwords somewhere. And even sometime it happens, people save the passwords in the shared computers. Even in the PSU, I saw many people, they save their passwords on shared computers. So can you imagine what will happen later, because they are using the same password for accessing more than one application? So it means it will affect all their applications. Okay, so how can we overcome this issue? By just train the employees, train the humans. Okay, so each year data breaches are responsible for compromising the personal information of billions of people around the globe. These breaches cost organizations billions of dollars loss per year. and are causing governments to implement new requirements for organizations to secure their data. However, experts have established best practices on how organizations protect their data in terms of policies, in terms of technologies, in terms of techniques. So in this workshop, you will learn about ongoing challenges of data security and how to fight data breaches and cyber criminals. Okay. So before moving towards the vulnerabilities, let's first, I want to tell you what is data security. Data security is the process of protecting corporate data and preventing data loss through unauthorized access. This includes protecting your data from attacks that can encrypt or destroy data. For example, ransomware. Okay, as we all know, in ransomware, usually attacker target your data, encrypt it, and then ask for the money, which usually pay in Bitcoins. So the only way to avoid the ransom attack is backup your data. If you have a proper backup of your data, you don't need to pay a handsome amount to the attackers in order to recover your data. As well as the attacks that can modify or corrupt your data. Definitely, you can again avoid this attack if you are using a proper encryption mechanism. Okay, even if the attacker can get your data, the attacker will not able to decrypt it. So data security also ensure data is available to everyone in the organization who has access to it. This is again the attack on the availability of the data. The attacker basically target the servers in order to make them unavailable for the users. Back in 2016, Google was hacked by the attackers. So they basically attack the Google servers and make them unavailable for 24 hours, which costs around millions of dollars to Google. The same attack happened in early 2021. The attacker targets 23 Google IP servers. So definitely we can avoid this attack as well if you have a proper security controls. Some industries require a high level of data security to comply with data protection regulations. For instance, organizations that process payment card information, for example, banks, financial informations. So they must use and store the payment cards securely using PCI DSS standard, which is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. At the same time, healthcare organizations, especially in USA, must secure the patient's private health information in line with the HIPAA standard. Okay. So even if your organization is not subject to a regulation or compliance standard, the survival of a modern business depends totally on data security, which can impact both the organization key assets, private data belongings to its customers. Okay. So why is data security important? Data security is critical to both public and private sectors for a variety of reasons. First, there is a legal and moral obligation that companies have to protect their users and customers' data from falling into wrong hands. For example, financial firms, for example, may be subject to payment card industry standards that forces company to take all reasonable measures to protect their users' data. Then again, there is a reputational risk of data breach. If you don't take security seriously, definitely your reputation can be permanently damaged in the market. Mm-hmm. So let's discuss what is data breach. A data breach, we can call it as data leak as well, is a security event when critical data is accessed by or disclosed to unauthorized viewers. So some of the vulnerabilities that can cause massive data breach includes cyber attacks, in which hackers bypass your security technologies. So it means your security controls are there, but attacker compromise those security technologies. Attacker bypass those security controls in order to get access to your data, your critical infrastructure. Again, the next one is theft or loss of your devices that contain the protected information. This is basically the physical attack on your data. Data theft by the employees. Sometimes employees themselves are involved in these type of thefts. They include your contractors, your partners, because they are interested in your data, in your trade secrets, okay, in your formulas, in your plans, and so on. Again, human error, as we discussed previously. For example, human can accidentally sending sensitive data to someone through email, okay, to unauthorized peoples, because they don't have sufficient knowledge how to handle the data. Data leakage is again very important. Unauthorized electronic or physical transmission of data from within a company or to external recipient, either intentionally or unintentionally. So this is again a very, very massive data breach. Error due to system misconfigurations or programming errors, which may cause unauthorized access of data by criminals, by attackers. Lack of multi-factor authentication. Again, this is very, very important to implement multi-factor, two-factor authentication for your applications. Okay. I hope all of you know what is multi-factor. Multi-factor is, for example, if you want to log in into any particular application, you have to enter your password, and at the same time, you will receive a code on your mobile, and you have to enter that particular code. So this is two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Then we have excessive or unnecessary privileges. If you are giving any employee excessive privileges to any particular system or data, this is again very, very, this may cause very massive data breach. Okay, so according to an IBM security report published in early 2021, a global average total cost of data breach is $4.2 million. With the same study, United States is considered as the highest breach cost. And with respect to industry, healthcare industry face a highest breach cost. So some of the largest data breaches around the world. So definitely there have been thousands of known data attacks and breaches over the past several years. So here we are discussing only few. So some of them definitely are especially large and newsworthy, including the following. Equifax, which was hacked in July 2017 and impact around 143 million consumers. WannaCry, everyone is aware of it. WannaCry is a ransom attack, which was carried at May 2017 and impact 200,000 computers worldwide. Similarly, Yahoo was hacked in 2013 to 2014 and impact 3 billion accounts of their users. Adult Friend Finder, it's an app which was hacked in October 2016 and caused more than 412 million accounts hacked. eBay, all of us are using eBay services nowadays, which is a very renowned application, online e-commerce application. It was hacked in May 2014, and the impact was very severe. It affects around 145 million users. Their account was compromised at that time. Target stores cost 110 million user account holders. And last but not least, Mafia Boy distributed denial of service attack was launched in 2000 and this impact was definitely very severe. It temporarily shut down Yahoo, Amazon, eBay, CNN, and many other websites. So now we will discuss some technologies that help us with data protection. So data protection and safety is definitely one of the most important things you can do for your organization, especially if you are a regularly process personal data, if you are responsible for the data processing. So these technologies includes data encryption, backup and recovery, data discovery and classification, identity and access management, dynamic data masking, user entity behavior analytics, which is called UBA. So let's discuss them briefly one by one. So what is data encryption? Data encryption is encoding critical information and make it unreadable and useless for the malicious users. It can be attacker, hacker, cracker, okay? High-risk data is a prime candidate for encryption every step on the way. This includes during data acquisition when you are collecting the data. So definitely you can put security control there using online cryptographic protocols. Then while data processing. So how you can securely process the data? By achieving full memory encryption. And definitely storage is again very, very important. So how you are securely store your data? By using different encryption algorithm. Okay, so today we will focus on the storage, how to secure the data while the data is at rest. Okay, so well encrypted data is inherently safe. Even in case of breach, the data will be useless and irrecoverable to the attackers. For that reason, encryption is even explicitly mentioned as the method of data protection in GDPR. GDPR is General Data Protection Regulation, and this is a regulation which is mentioning all the policies, issues related to the data. So, meaning its proper use will certainly bring you favor.
Hello, Dr. Rabia.
Yes, dear.
Sorry, interrupt you. You know the screen is not clear. If you don't mind, you can share the slide with me, and I will share the screen from my side.
Actually, I'm presenting from Canva. Let me open it again. Okay. So everyone is facing the same issue?
No, doctor. Our screen
because
is clear.
for some people it's clear. Okay, let me share it again with you. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, for example, if you experience a breach attack that affect encrypted data, you do not even have to report it to the supervisor authority, because if your data is encrypted and you still face a data attack, the breach on your data, even in that case, you do not even have to report it to the supervisor authority, since the data is considered adequately protected. So that is why you should consider encryption as your #1 data security method. Okay, so this is simple encryption method. Okay, you have a plain text, you apply an encryption algorithm on your plain text along with the key. So all the security lies within this key. If your key is secure, which is usually generated randomly, if your key is secure, definitely your ciphertext, which is your encoded data, it is secure. Okay, so after applying the encryption algorithm on the plain text along with the key, you will get your ciphertext or encoded data. And the recipient, the receiver, definitely need the decryption algorithm, which is exactly the reverse of this encryption, along with the same key to decrypt it. Okay, so here, for example, the attacker is sitting here in the middle of the communication, and attacker through any means able to get this encoded data. What do you think? Definitely, if it is encrypted with a strong key, secure key, the attacker will not be able to decrypt it. This data is useless for the attacker. Okay, so that's why encryption is very, very important. Okay, so we will do one demo practical today on encryption as well. Okay, so let's go to the second important technology, which is backup and recovery. It is again very, very important. Backups are a method of preventing data loss that can often occur either due to the user error or technical malfunction. Okay, it can be any cause. For example, even in the example I've given you before, the ransom attack, the only solution is the proper backup of your data. So backup should be regularly made and updated. Regular backups will impose an additional cost to your company sometimes. Definitely, if your data is of huge amount, huge size, definitely it will impose additional cost on your company. But potential interruptions to your normal business operation will cost even more. Definitely. So time is money. Okay. Data of low importance does not have to be backed up as often. If your data is not very important, definitely you don't need to put too much effort or cost in backup that particular data. If the data is like public data, no need to backup. But definitely sensitive data does. You should take a regular backup of your sensitive data. Such backups should be stored in a safe place, possibly encrypted. So what can be the safe place? It can be your external drive. It can be, can you please allow me to enter someone? Okay. So it can be, what can be the safe places? It can be your external drive. It can be your USB drive. It can be a separate server. It can be the same, the separate partition on the same system. Okay. And definitely if your data is encrypted, it is, again, if your backup is encrypted, definitely it is safe. So never store sensitive data in the cloud. This is a suggestion. Okay. If you have sensitive data, don't store it on the cloud. Okay, it can be the Google Cloud or Apple Cloud and so on. Okay, so what are the common reasons why we need data backup? Okay, so for example, 60% is due to the human errors. Okay, maybe they accidentally delete the data, maybe there is some technical issue in the system. Okay, then 56% unexpected update and patches. Sometimes we receive unexpected updates in the operating systems and the applications, so maybe this may be a cause for your data loss as well. Okay, 44% the server room issues, 10% earthquake, 26% fire or explosions, and 29% power outages. So if any of these reasons happen, definitely if you have a proper backup of your data, you can restore it very easily. Okay, so definitely we will do one practical today on the data backup, how you can take the data back, your backup of your sensitive important data. The third important category is identity and access management. Identity and access management helps organization manage both regular and privileged user accounts and control user access to critical information. Okay, it is very, very important to implement this. Nowadays, even we have a separate servers for it who are responsible for only the identity and access management of the systems. Okay. So the introduction of access controls to your company's workflow is very efficient risk reduction method. Definitely, the fewer people have access to the data, the lesser the risk of data loss. So you should ensure that to give access to your sensitive data only to the trustworthy employees, not to all who have a valid reason to access it. Okay. Conduct regular prior data handling trainings with them. especially after hiring new employees. You can conduct trainings, you can conduct workshops, share some suggestions or policies with them through emails. Okay, draft a very clear and concise data protection policies for your employees. Okay, so for example, what is authentication? This is a user and the user want to access some particular resource. Okay, so we have only two options, either to allow the user or to deny the user. Okay, so based on the authentication, the identity of the user, if it is a valid user, definitely you have to authenticate it here. If the user is valid to access the particular resource, you definitely, the user is allowed to access that particular resource. And if the user is not a valid user, definitely the system should deny the access. Okay. Let me allow someone. Okay. Then what is authorization? Authorization means if once the user is allowed to access any particular resource, what actions a user can perform on that particular resource. Either the user is allowed to edit that particular resource or no. Okay, so definitely the only admin have all the privileges. Okay, so user can be editor, definitely user can't be admin. Okay. The third one is again very important, dynamic data masking, which is called DDM. Dynamic data masking is an emerging technology that aims at real-time data masking of production data. Okay, so nowadays all of us know that Google, Facebook, they are selling over data to third parties, to other companies, marketing companies, research industries, academia. Okay, so it means this is even allow according to the GDPR rule. They are allowed to share the user's data, but after doing dynamic data masking. So dynamic data masking means masking the user's data before sharing it with some third party companies. Okay, because the third party companies, they need our data for research. For example, for those people who are doing research on COVID, they need the research data. So definitely from where they are getting that data? From the hospitals. Okay, but at the same time, hospitals are not allowed to share the data in the original form, in the actual form. So definitely first they have to do some data masking, hiding the sensitive information of their patients, and then share that data with the research industry. Okay, at the same time, marketing companies, in order to find the shopping patterns of the users, they need the data of the users. Okay, but definitely this is the responsibility of the production organization to first mask the data. Okay, so for example, when you look here, this is our original data that we shared with, for example, Google or Facebook or maybe any other company. Okay, and this is the mask data. So whenever they want to share their database with other third-party users, they have to mask it. See, in this data, they mask the last name, the phone numbers, the emails, and definitely the most important social security numbers. Okay. The fourth one is UBA, which is user and entity behavior analytics. This is again very important. This is a technology that looks at the pattern of human behaviors and then analyze them for the deviations, okay, to detect the anomalies which indicates the potential threats. So it is particularly helpful for detecting insider threats, targeted attacks, hacked accounts, and financial fraud that tracks a system user. Okay, so the last and most important technology is data discovery and classification. So whatever your organization is, it is very, very important because each and every organization, they have some important sensitive data and non-sensitive data. Okay, so the first important thing is to discover your data, discover your assets, and then classify them. Okay, based on if they are very sensitive, either they are restricted. So these are four broad data classification categories. Either the data can be restricted, highly sensitive, confidential, which is sensitive. It can be internal, non-sensitive, but not specifically for the public, and the public data. Definitely. So once you classify your data, you put the security solutions accordingly. Okay. So definitely, if your data is public, like price lists, okay, do you need security for that data? Definitely no. But if your data is restricted, like your social security number, your personal health information, your trade secrets, your sensitive financial secrets, definitely you need a very, very good security solution for that particular data. Okay. So before moving to practical demos, let me sum up what we discussed previously. So organizations are using all kinds of sophisticated data security technologies that we discussed previously to protect their critical IT assets. However, effective data security requires more than just technical measures. They need to be implemented as part of well-managed holistic data protection program. Okay, so now we will move to our practical demo one, which is the encryption. Today in this practical demo, we will discuss how to encrypt your important data that is stored on your computer. Veracrypt, we will use a Veracrypt tool to encrypt the data. So Veracrypt is an open free source tool. Anyone can use it for disk encryption software for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Veracrypt adds enhanced security to the algorithms used for system and partition encryptions, making it immune to new development in brute force. Okay. So before moving towards the practical, I just want all of you to go, what is the practical scenario? We are looking into it. As a data administrator, you should ensure the security of your data through encryption mechanism. It helps them to prevent data from unauthorized access. If your data is encrypted, definitely no one can decrypt it unless and until that person knows the key, the password. Okay. Administrator may require encrypting the data such as files. You can encrypt files, you can encrypt folders, disk volume, disk partitions. You can encrypt the whole system. You can encrypt your external drives, either hard drives, USBs, SSDs, and so on. Administrators should consider encrypting all the sensitive data of organizations that need protection. As an administrator, you should know and handle various encryption tools used for encrypting data at rest. Okay, so the objective of this practical is to demonstrate how to encrypt the data at rest. Okay, so let's move to our first practical. So this is our Veracrypt. Can you all see my screen? Let me share my whole screen with you. Okay. So can you all see my screen?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so this is Veracrypt tool. You can easily, it's free open source tool. You can download it from internet. So once you download it, just click on it, open it. So here we have different options. Okay, so first we will create the volume. Volume means we will create a specific folder, a drive, in which we will put all the data that we want to encrypt. Okay, so first you need to click here on the create volume. Okay, so here you will see different options. Create an encrypted file container. So it means you are creating a container, a drive in which you will put all your data, which you want to encrypt, your files, your folders, whatever you want. The second option is if you want to encrypt your partition or drive. Okay, if you, sorry, a drive, external drive, either it can be your flash drive, your hard drives. If you want to encrypt your external drives, you have to click on the second option. The third one is if you want to encrypt your system partition. Okay, for example, in this system, I have 3 partitions. If I want to encrypt any of this partition, then definitely I have to choose this third option, or either I can encrypt the whole system drive. Okay, so definitely these are time consuming. So we will just, the process, the procedure for all are the same. Okay, so I'm just going for the first option, create an encrypted file container. Next, then again, we have two different options, standard Veracrypt volume or hidden Veracrypt volume. Standard means you will see the folder on your desktop, but you need a password to access it. Okay. Hidden Veracrypt volume means you even don't see the folder here. Your folder is hidden as well. It is encrypted plus hidden. No one can see it except you. Okay. So again, the procedure for both are same. So we will go for the standard first. Okay, standard Veracrypt volume, click next. Here you need to select the file, okay, in which you want to put all your backups, all your data that you want to encrypt. Okay, so select file. Okay, for example, I'm going to downloads. Okay, I'm giving it as, so I'm creating one file here with my volume .hc. Okay, save. HC is basically the format of the encryption. Okay. Next, so here we have the different encryption algorithms. Okay, so definitely when we see from the security perspective, AES, which is Advanced Encryption Standard, it's considered as the most secure algorithm. So you have multiple options based on your need. You can choose from any of these. Okay, so here, okay, then the second option is hashing algorithm. Okay, so again, we have different hashing algorithm. Hashing is basically used so that no one can alter your data, change your data. Okay, so we are choosing the most secure hashing algorithm from here. Okay, let me. Okay, so once you choose your encryption algorithm and hashing algorithm, click next. So here you have to select the number of the size of your drive. Okay. For example, if you want to encrypt your whole system or system partition, definitely you have to choose terabytes based on the size of your encrypted data. Definitely, we are just going to encrypt two simple files. So I think so too. I'm choosing just 2 MB, it's enough for me. Okay, you can choose KB. It's totally up to your need. So next. So now this is the security. So you have to choose the very, very complex password for it. Okay, let me retype the password. Okay, now click next. So definitely it's suggesting me to choose the password, the more than 20 characters. Okay, so yes. Okay, now you have to move your cursor. This is basically our key generator. That's why I told you all the security lies within the key. So I'm just moving my cursor. So in order to generate this random key. Okay, so now my random key is generated and secure. Okay, now I will click format here. Done. Okay, and exit. Okay, so let me go to that particular folder in which I created my volume. See, it's here, my volume. So this is the encrypted container that I created. Okay, but definitely I cannot access it. Okay, so how I will access it and put my data in this? Okay, let's go back again to Veracrypt. Okay, now I have to choose any drive from here. Okay, you will see different options here, but some drives are missing from this. Why? Because this CD and E drive is already in my system. So this CD is missing from here. Okay, so you can choose any. For example, I'm choosing J drive. Okay, then I will select my file, which container. Okay, so this is my container, this my volume. I will choose this, open and mount. It will ask me for the password. Okay, so I have to enter the same password. Okay, so now when I go back, see, this is now my drive. This is my encrypted drive. So now, for example, I want to move some files from here. These are the two files that I want to encrypt. What I will do, I will put them here in this drive. Okay, so I want to encrypt these two assignments. What I will do, I will go here and dismount. See, it means this drive is now, you will not see it. Okay, then when I go to my document, see, now my data is encrypted. The two files that I pasted in that J drive, they are encrypted here in this volume. Okay, so using the same method, so it means whatever files you want to encrypt, just move them here in this container. So definitely if the size of your container is big, you can easily encrypt the data like any size. Whatever is the size of your file, you can encrypt it easily. Okay, so this is our first practical. You can do the rest. Exactly, you can do the partition drive USB exactly using the same procedure. You can encrypt your system partitions and entire system drive using the same procedure. Okay, so this is our first practical. Okay, now let's move to the second practical. Okay, let me go back to the second practical. So the second practical demo is using AOMEI Backupper tool, which is a very important tool used for backup your data and then restoration. It can back large amount of data in short period of time and has a user-friendly graphical user interface and is compatible with most of the systems. Okay, so before moving to the practical, let's quickly go to the practical scenario. Taking data backup at periodic interval is very, very important task of an administrator in the organization. Backup helps organization recovering from data loss and subsequent disasters. So loss or corruptions of data may cause huge disaster to the organization, and it may damage their reputation as well. So as a network administrator, you should know the various backup tools and how you can back up your sensitive data. Either you are a network administrator or even as a user, you should know how you can take the backup of your data. Okay. So in this demo practical, we will learn how to perform backup of your data. Okay, so before moving to practical, let me quickly tell you the difference between different type of data backups. First, we have a full backup. Full backup means every time, if you are choosing full backup option, every time the system will take the full backup of your data. Okay, differential backup means once you take the full backup, your system additions and alterations since the most recent full backup. Okay, so first you have to take the full backup, and later on, for example, you take this backup on Sunday. So for every other days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they will take the backup for the additions and alterations. Okay, since the most recent full backup. Okay. Then incremental backup, which is considered as a good strategy for data backup. So in this particular type of backup, once you take the initial full backup, the addition and alteration since the most recent incremental backup. For example, you are taking this backup on Sunday. On Monday, you need to take only the additions and alterations backup. On Tuesday, only Tuesday additions and alterations backup. On Wednesday, only Wednesday additions and alterations backup. Okay. So now let's go to the backup tool. For taking backup, we need this tool, AOMEI Backupper tool. It is again open source tool. You can easily find it on internet. Okay. Okay, so this is our backup management. So I already took the backup of some files, so you can see those backups here. Okay, now let's start with a fresh backup. Okay, so you want to take the backup of one file. Okay, so here again we have multiple options. You can take the full system backup, you can take the disk backup like your hard drive, your SSD, your USB, okay, your external hard drive. Then we have a partition backup if you want to take the backup of any partition on your system. Okay, and then we have a backup files to cloud. Definitely it is not a good option, but still you have an option here if you want to back up your files on cloud. Okay, so definitely due to time constraint, we will go only for the file backup. Okay, because definitely the rest of these options, they need time. So we will start with file backup option. Before proceeding, let me tell you, we are using the standard version of backup tool. You can also switch to upgraded version, but definitely in that case, you have to pay for the license. So let's start with the file backup. Okay. So here, again, we have multiple options. If you want to take the backup of a single file or a folder. Okay. So let's start with the folder. Okay. For example, let me go to my documents. Okay, so here I have multiple. Okay, so for example, I want to take the backup of this assignment folder. Okay, so I will select this, open, and here I need to select the location in which I want to store the backup. Okay, so I'm just using E drive by default. Okay, now before proceeding the start backup, we have multiple options here. Okay, when you click here in the options, you will see if you want to write something here, a note for you. For example, you can write assignments here, and then you can append it with date, for example, 10/10/2021. Okay, so again, if you want to enable encryption for your backup, this is very, very good option, but it is not in the free version. You have to pay for the license. Okay, it is in the professional version. And email notification, for example, if you want to get the notifications through the email, just enable it. Okay, again, here we have a pre-command, post-command. If you want to specify program any pre or post command, you can enable it and write your command. Go to the advanced. Here again, we have multiple options. Compression. Okay, so let me tell you one important thing. Backup is always smaller than the original file size. The reason is because we use compression in backup. Okay, so if you are using normal compression, no compression at all, definitely it will increase the size of your backup. Okay, so even you can go for the high compression. Okay, if you have a limited size on your disk. So we are just going for the normal compression. Then splitting, if you want to split your data into multiple files, okay, in order to make it more secure. But now we are just using automatic. Okay, again, operation priority. If you want to do this operation at priority, high, normal, low, we are just doing it in a normal. Okay, so now I'm choosing okay. We have another option, schedule backup. Okay, if you want to schedule backup regularly, okay, instead of doing this backup settings again and again, manually take the backup again and again, it's better to schedule the backup. If you want to run it on daily basis, weekly, monthly, and so on daily basis, run every night, for example, at 11 p.m. So it will take the automatic backup of that day at 11 night. Okay, so this is a very good option. So, okay, then backup scheme. Again, this is very, very important. Backup scheme, which scheme you want to use. As I discussed, as I told you before, either you can go for the full backup, like the complete backup every day. This is not a good option, okay? It is just the resource consuming, time consuming task if your file is very large. Incremental backup is a very, very good option, okay? You just go and take the increment of that particular day additions and alterations, okay? Third is differential backup, but again, it is not allowed in the standard version. So we will go for the incremental backups. Okay, then click OK. So now let's start with this start backup. So my system is taking the backup. Okay, now my backup is finished. Okay, so see, this is my most recent backup. Okay, how I will restore it? We have multiple options. You can restore from here. Otherwise, go to this restore tab. Select a task which you want to restore. For example, I want to restore my backup file 10, which I just did now. Next, in which folder you want to save the restore. Okay, so I'm in the same assignment document. Okay, so next, original location. So this is basically I'm restoring my backup. Okay, so first let me show you my backup which I took now. So this is my backup that I did now. Okay, and this is, okay, let me go back to the assignment folder. Okay, sorry. So this is my backup. Okay, sorry, no. So now in order to restore it, okay, for example, click restore, the same location, and next. Okay, so if I want to restore to the new location, let me check this option, restore. Okay, so for example, I'm choosing the same folder for restoration, open, and restore data. Okay, finish. And when you go back here in the documents, see, this is my data restore. When you go here in the same folder, so I restore my files again. Okay, any questions from any of these practicals? Okay, so let's quickly conclude the workshop. Okay, what are the some data security best practices? How can you secure your data? Okay, so the two practical demos I already given you. You can use these tools to secure your data. They are very, very effective. Okay, so the other best practices include understand the data you have. First, you have to understand your data criticality, and what data is most sensitive and how it is secure. Okay, so definitely this is again data classification. The second one is collect and keep only the sensitive private information that you need about your customers. Don't ask for additional information. Okay, establish effective data governance. So governance responsibility is to define the protection policies. Okay, so definitely you should define the effective data security policies. Okay, and again, education is very important. How once you define the policies, you have to educate your employees. Okay, stay updated on known vulnerabilities. So definitely there are many websites available online in which you can find different vulnerabilities. Okay, immediately fix vulnerability you discover. So once you discover the vulnerability, immediately go and fix it. Okay, like updates, whenever you are receiving updates, immediately go and install them. Okay, establish password authentication policies, proper policies for password generation, password authentications. It's good to go for multi-factor authentication. Okay, educate employees. So if everything is there and still your employees are not following them, it's again definitely affect you in a very harmful way. Okay, so once you put everything, it's very important to educate your employees, give them trainings, inform them through emails and so on. Protect all data by default. So by default is not at all secure in any case. Okay, so whenever you install any application, anything, don't rely on by default settings. Immediately go and configure your settings first. Stay apprised of the latest data security threats worldwide and have an emergency plan and follow it closely after any data breach. So in any case, attacks are everywhere. So the last suggestion is you should have an emergency plan. If in any case, if you have facing a data breach or anything, you should have an emergency plan to switch on that. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask.
Dr. Rabia, I have a very quick question, please.
Yes. Sure.
Okay. You were showing the examples using Veracrypt just now.
Yes.
Just from your experience, between, for example, you are showing Veracrypt because it is the best among what we have sort of in the market compared to, I think, something like folder lock.
No, we cannot say that. We have too many
Uh-huh.
tools available. Even in
Right.
the Windows, we have a built-in tool that is called BitLocker. Even in the Mac operating
Okay.
systems, we have File Vault. But when we compare these built-in tools with these open source tools, so you will get like somewhat independence. Like Veracrypt, they allow you to encrypt the disks virtually. So there
Okay.
are like very, very few differences between these tools. So I'm choosing this tool because it is freely available, and definitely for this workshop, I think so it's a good option to choose like free tool so that anyone can use it, take advantage from that particular tool.
Okay. Just another quick one, please.
Yes.
I've read that when you want to kind of do some banking transaction,
Yes.
it is safer not to use the link that we might have saved in our bookmark and go to the, we search for the link as in a login link rather than
Yes.
use it from our bookmark. Is
Yes.
that true?
We cannot say that.
Uh-huh.
Usually, basically, whatever we are bookmark, it is secured in our temporary cache in our browsers.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the reason. Like, I saw some of the faculty members, they store their passwords in the shared computers in classes. So that's why it's, I think so, better option to, specifically if you are opening your banking websites or any other financial sensitive applications, it's better to go to the fresh links.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? So thank you all for attending this workshop and for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rabia.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.